What are mythological creatures? How are they influenced by their culture or religious beliefs? By Valerie Franco. I am presenting mythological creatures by examining how they are easily influenced by their culture or religious beliefs. In doing this, a backstory will be provided of what mythological creatures are, so the audience isn't left confused. After the introduction of mythological creatures, I will address my main mythological creature, which is Medusa. I will go in depth on who she is and what role she plays in Greek mythology, as well as relatable or cultural aspects of life. I chose this type of presentation because it's engaging for everyone and more entertaining as it contains moving figures and bold colors. It relates to my topic by making people interested in the facts I will provide and by keeping them involved so they don't miss opportunities to learn what's going on. It's important because it will give my audience a deeper understanding of what mythological creatures are really like instead of going off of assumptions. So what exactly is mythological creatures? Mythological creatures are creatures like monsters, sirens, and dragons, along with many other creatures that were believed to be seen many years ago. These mythological creatures are also mentioned in the Bible. In today's day, creatures like the ones I've mentioned aren't ever seen, but people believe they still live amongst us. Crazy, right? First, we'll get started with who exactly is Medusa. Medusa is known for turning people she makes eye contact with into stone. Furthermore, what I have gathered from Medusa was that she was raped. Athena had cursed her by turning her hair into snakes to take away her beauty. She was then decapitated by Perseus, which caused her two children, Peleus and Chrysa, to be born from her neck. Since she was mortal, she still held her powers. Perseus would use Medusa to his advantage by turning any enemies he had into stone, but also used her to rescue the princess. After he was done using her, he returned her to Athena. She had hurt and hatred built up because of how people treated her. They portrayed her as someone she wasn't. What culture or religious beliefs is she categorized to? Medusa is associated with Greek mythology. One way this is noticeable is by being able to recognize the characters known in her story. They are known in the Greek world because some are gods and goddesses, like Athena and Poseidon. The name Athena is a common Greek name. Medusa's parents were actually sea gods, which makes sense on how she was surrounded by gods/goddesses. A religious belief that's captured in her story is sex before marriage. Since her virginity was taken from her, they saw her as someone unholy or unworthy of being a part of them. They saw her private areas as sacred. Even though she didn't ask for that to happen to her, she was still heavily penalized. Medusa relates to Greek mythology by proving that women's rights aren't as fair as male rights, which is why when she probably tried to explain her side of the story, no one listened because she's only a woman. Medusa also relates to culture because she is seen as someone who wards off negative energies. In the end, I hope engaging in my PowerPoint gave you a better understanding of what mythological creatures are and how they may play a part in some people's beliefs. By showing what mythological creatures are and giving examples of how myths can relate to culture or religious beliefs. For example, sex before marriage was frowned upon. In some cases, this is still a thing, and many older religious adults believe in doing this method. Throughout the presentation, we were focusing on how Medusa was related by giving some insight on how she became part of the mythological creatures. She definitely had an interesting story that was also very close to home for some people. Getting justice can be hard. I bet some people feel happy knowing there's a mythological creature they can relate to. Also, how she was portrayed by people she was close to before. In her story, there are a lot of relatable moments. If interested, you should see how other mythological creatures relate to cultural or religious traditions. There are many never-ending examples. Oh, I spoke too fast. I'm so sorry. That concludes my final research presentation. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. That's my works cited page.